Uh-oh, yellow, yellow, welding by itself. Oh no, oh my goodness. I thought we was fixing to have a stick welding rodeo. Oh my gosh. Talk about learning something every day. Check this out. I've had the question in the past, how, like when using the circle burner method, I've had people ask me, how do I find the center of my pipe this way? You might be asking, Austin, are you charging hourly for this job? If I was charging hourly, there you have it. Now, time to tack some clips on and get to weld and weld them all out and see what our average time is per brace. This is my kind of morning and my kind of job. Listen to the quiet nature. Okay, so on this project we've got 8 braces total. Customer's already got the post in the ground, so all we got to do is cap and put 2 rails in, and he's essentially cross fencing his property here, this quarter of section here. So anyway, we've got 4 braces here in the middle that we're going to start with. I got my pickup staged in the corner of one, and we're just going to start laying out and laying out everything and cutting off post, and then laying out where our circles go. I believe we're going to use the circle burner on these. That's the rhythm I'm going to set up for. So let's get started. Ooh. Ooh boy, first things first, we got to let this old welding machine warm up. I need to replace the brushes for the workshop. One of my exciter brushes down here is getting short. My machine quit welding. Worried me. I thought it was a bigger issue. I called my brother and he said, check them exciter brushes before you do anything, and sure enough, that's what it was. I cleaned my exciter brushes with a stone, and then ooh, come on now. Ooh. All right, so first things first, like always, we're gonna put a string line up here, and then we're gonna eyeball it. I've already done that here. I look at it from like 4 points, or call it like a 360 view, just because sometimes it looks good from over there, but then you get over here and sometimes it doesn't look as good. I say I've already done that. I didn't look at it from down here, but we essentially want this one, just because of the lay of the land, you may not be able to see it on camera, but essentially want this one just a touch, just a touch lower. Once I get my top laid out, I pull the string line down, put a mark all the way around on my post, ready to cut, and then I'll measure from my mark down wherever my first brace is going to be, which is going to be roughly 13 inches to the top of our brace. And then from top to top, or center to center of our 2 braces that we're putting in here, we're going 24 inches. So I'll pull down 13, and then from that mark I'll pull down 24 on both sides. And then actually I'll do 24 plus half a 2 3/8, because that'll put me at the center of those, since we're using the circle burner method. And I'll make 4 punch marks, punch mark, punch mark, and then we'll be ready to set up the circle burner. And this is our learning curve. In other words, these first couple, or this one especially, will be our learning curve. In other words, all this setup that I'm doing, as far as my rhythm and everything, and setting up the circle burner to get it fitting 2 3/8 just right, 2 3/8 pipe, we'll learn that on this brace, and then I shouldn't have to touch my circle burner for the other 7 braces, because we'll get it dialed in on this one. So this one is liable to take an hour or so to do, but the other ones ought to take less time. I say an hour, I don't know how long it'll take. It might take me an hour and a half to do this one here, maybe 2 hours, I don't know. All I know is it's going to take a little bit longer because it's the first one, and that's okay. That's why we call it the learning curve. So I've got that one brace laid out. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out the other 3 since they're all right here close. We've got 4 right here close, and I'm gonna try to do that on every step. I'm gonna go ahead and get them all laid out. I'm gonna do all the cutting, and then I'm gonna put the braces in, put the caps on, and then put the braces in. The only reason I'm doing that is for efficiency reasons, since these are all right here close, rather than doing everything to one and then, you know, having to change my like what I'm doing. Like laying out is one step, cutting is another, welding is another, sanding is another. So it's like I'm gonna do the laying out all at once, I'm gonna do the cutting all at once, and then I'm gonna do the welding all at once. The goal is to be more efficient. So, and then we'll get an average of how long it took us to do all 4 of these once we're done with all 4 of them. We'll just take the time, started at 8:30 this morning, and then we're gonna, whatever time we end, I'll just take that total amount of time and I'll divide it by 4, and that'll give us an average of how long each one of these braces took. Come on downtown. It is colder than bananas out here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, second brace, here we go. Colder than bananas. We gotta keep moving. I always like to use myself as a story stick. So now I know that to the bottom of my mic is roughly where I want this. Roughly. I always say roughly with fence because the ground, you know, the ground's not perfect. Like, see where you set these posts, the ground's a little higher right here. So you kind of, I mean, it's literally just a rough number. But anyway, that's where I want that. So now, once I get one side where I want it, stand back, take a look, see. It needs to come up a little, I think. Yeah. Come up a little. Look at it from 360. Look at it. Look at it from over here. Man, I think that's it. That right there's money. Money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? Money, money, money. Money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? Right there. And right there. Okay. I just thought of another way to be more efficient. I'm gonna go ahead and go to this next brace and lay the top of it out. Get all my tops laid out. So like this is where if a guy had a crew, if I had a crew of 2 guys working with me, the first guy, we'd pull on site, and the first guy would go through and do everything I'm doing now, and the second guy would come in behind and do the second step, and then the third guy would be gearing up to cut holes or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like efficiency, you know? I clearly have not done that, but if I was to have a fencing business, that is exactly what I would do. I would get all this set up. I would set in those systems so I was way more efficient. Therefore, more valuable to my customer, but also more valuable to us. It's a win-win, you know, as the company, because you're potentially making more money. Let's see. I'm starting to get distracted. See, I need to. Okay, that's average top there. Okay, that's close. Okay, the road here is throwing me off. I'm looking at the wrong. It's throwing me off a little. I think that's not bad. Let me run up here, take a look, see. How do I feel about that one? I think I like it. I think I'm gonna roll with it. Marky, marky. Marky, marky. And marky, marky. Okay, now, last but not least, we got one more top to mark, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Oh my gosh. Talk about learning something every day. Check this out. I've had the question in the past, how, like when using the circle burner method, I've had people ask me, how do I find the center of my pipe this way? And I've always said run a string line down one side, measure from the edge to find center. But check this out. This is an even neater way without a string line. So I get down here and I line up my 2 posts, and then I poke my tape out until it's in line with those 2 posts. So as long as both my posts are flush, I can stick my tape out, and I know that's the edge of my, come over half of my pipe, which is 2 1/4. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I'll throw my 4-foot level and make a line all the way down. That way I can have the center of my bottom rail as well. Pretty slick, huh? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment below. Next, it's time to mark our tops with our template here. You should be able to find these red templates on our website, AROSSWELDING.com, under the favorites page. There's a couple of lists over there of my favorite things. Oh, it's chilly out still yet. Waiting for that sun to come out. There's only a high of like 48, is that right? If I remember right. Oh, I still need to run my level on this one. You know, I used to think and I used to say that when I was working by myself, I liked doing stuff like this. Stuff as in the process of doing one step at a time. But like I mentioned earlier, you could totally, a guy or gal could totally set this system up with any business. It makes me think about the story I've heard about Henry Ford, how he created the assembly line, how I don't know if he was the first one, but I just know I've heard it in several books and podcasts and stuff, that he simplified every person's job on that when building a car. So that way it was faster, because as one person it's easier for us to focus on one step at a time. So it just creates efficiency. So you can do the same thing in any business. The way I see it in my head anyway is, like I said earlier, you have one guy doing this, one guy doing this, one guy doing this, and everything's just more efficient. I don't know how else to say it. So from our cut mark, we're gonna go 14 and 3/16. And then we're gonna go 24 from there. Let's see here, I think I could be using customer story stick that he created. 14 and 3/16 and 24. And 3/16 and 24. And 3/16 and 24. So boom, boom. This right here is going to be our last one. 14 and 3/16 and 24. Last one, and then it's time to warm up my old paws. Come on. It is like 25 degrees out here right now. Chilly. Chilly Willy. Chilly Willy really. After we warm up our hands, it'll be time to punch those marks and set up the circle burner. This is the cost of doing business during the winter. Burn more fuel. Things take just a hair longer sometimes. Woo! Hot diggity dog. Feels good though. I've been in the office a lot lately, doing that editing work. I'm thankful though. I have a guy now that has been editing my videos, or he's edited one so far, and I'm looking forward to him editing more. I need more of this outside work. However, when it's this cold, I am thankful to be inside doing office work. Ooh, doggy. Oh, man. Didn't get my hands warm enough. Can't hold on to my punch. That one there looks a bit off. Move that one over a little bit. Coming in hot. All right, time to set up the old circle burner, baby. Where are you going? Where are you going, hey Ross? Where are you going? I don't know, I'm going crazy. Going crazy. All right, so the first thing we gotta do is from center, we gotta mark half of 2 3/8, which are 1 and 3/16. And then to find the circle burner that you see me using here in this video, check out our website, AROSSWELDING.com/shop under the tools tab. We've got 2 different sizes. You will need a straight attachment right here, 180 versus the traditional 90 degree. And to get part numbers for both sizes of the small and the large, text the word torch to 405-643-7176, and we will text you part numbers for the size of torch, or links. Actually, it's links now, not part numbers. We'll send you links to a straight torch attachment that you need, and or the actual torch that you need that our circle burners will work on. So AROSSWELDING.com, and for those of you that have been following along and you know that we have shut down the store because of the move to South Dakota, it should be open by the time this video is public. So surprise if you're watching this and you've been waiting. You've probably already got a text if you did send the word shop to 405-643-7176. That's our community text number. So you might already know, but if you didn't, the AROS Welding store is now open. So circle burners are available. Head on over there and check them out. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions down in the comments of this video, or you can text any questions to that same community number. Thank you so much for your support. Enjoy the rest of the video. Like always, preheat is key, especially on a cool day like today. I'm gonna do, if you're new to this circle burner, a helpful tip is to cut half and half. So I'm gonna cut this half over here, slowing down when I get to the side because we're further away from the pipe, see? Anyway, half, coming back to the top and doing the other half. Don't be discouraged if it's too big of a hole, because like I said, we call that the learning curve. The learning curve. Come on, boys. Now, take this piece of pipe, spin it around. Whew. Got snot dripping down my nose. All right, boys. I'd say that's pretty good. It's a little big, but it ain't bad. Yeah, I may try to shorten it up. I mean, just a hair. It ain't, you probably can't even see it on camera, but it's a little bit, see? Yeah, we better shorten it up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna loosen that off just a hair bit. And we're going to, now this phase here, this step here is a one where you gotta employ some patience. There we go. Moved it just a wee bit there. Yeah, this is not a rush phase right here. This is a patience. Oh, sunshine, come on out. I love you, sunshine. Put a lot of preheat right there on the edge, because if it's going to stop anywhere, it's going to be right here whenever we're further away from the pipe. This pipe has got something on the inside of it. I can smell it whenever I'm cutting. See, there it is. Let's try her out. I have a feeling this one's gonna be a little snug. It's usually the way it goes. Oh my God, that is perfect. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? All right, now I just got to go around and cut all the holes. pipe here is borderline not good enough for the circle burner method. Just meaning there's something inside of it, that's why it sounds like that, and that's why the holes ain't, one of the reasons why the holes ain't falling out as easy. It's got a liner in it, or a coating on the inside of the pipe. Oh my goodness. But that clean tip helps keep a good cut. All right, I got all my tops cut off to length. Got the caps set on here. Got our holes cut. Got one horizontal fit up. Ooh, getting a little slick, thawing out. Snow's, ground's thawing out. And we're cutting some more right here. And yeah, we're just moving right along here, ladies and gents. Most likely I'll need to take a rock, like a cone rock, to some of these holes because of that liner. This pipe has a liner inside of it. But anyway, look at, what's that guy doing? Hey buddy, what you doing? What y'all doing over there? Sure is nice to have your company. Appreciate you coming over here to see me. We're getting your fence fixed up. Don't you worry. We're getting her all fixed up. So anyway, 2, 4, 6, 8 horizontals total. I'm not using a template. Doesn't need to be straight. So I'm just cutting her, taking a cordless grinder, and then knocking them in the hole. You bet. I'm gonna have to deduct an hour, pretty much, call it an hour. Wasn't quite an hour, but deduct an hour off my time on account of on the phone with my brother, talking business. We was talking business. And 90, we want 92 roughly. You betcha, boys. You might be asking, Austin, are you charging hourly for this job? If I was charging hourly, I would most likely, if I stayed on the phone for a whole hour like that, I would most likely deduct an hour. But I actually gave this guy a locked-in price. And that's something that I've been practicing. The last couple of jobs I've looked at and quoted, I've been trying to sell it with an exact price. That way I ain't got to worry about the time. I can film. I ain't got to worry about it. Customer knows what they're going to be paying. As long as it's a project where I feel comfortable, like this, where I've done a bunch of them, I don't care if I end up not making exactly, my $100 an hour or whatever. I don't care if I make 80 an hour. It just doesn't really matter to me. I would rather be able to focus on the project and focus on filming a good video. And then, yeah. So anyway, that's that. Should have brought my chop saw. You can tell how often or how much I've been doing this lately, because I'm not even set up. Okay, this goes down over yonder. Just tried the brace and it didn't fit, so I'm gonna waller it out a little bit. All right, let's see what that looks like, ladies. Ooh. do this number. Pow, pow. There it is. Bada bingy, bada boomy. You bet. You bet. One down. 3 more to go. Check my measurements. 24 top to top. 13. 24 top to top. Cool, man. Cool. All right, I've got all my measurements, so I can cut them all down to, and cut all my braces to 92.5 inches. There you have it. Now, time to tack some clips on and get to weld them all out and see what our average time is per brace. Well, I was gonna weld these braces, but I went to weld with my weld machine and it wouldn't weld. And the other day, it done this, and my brother told me to check these exciter brushes. Your exciter brushes on a machine like mine. This is a 2012 SAE 300, and the exciter brushes are up here. You got a set of brushes here and a set of brushes further in, but check these out. So this is what come out of it. It wore down so far on this one where it got into the copper piece. Whoopsies. And I bought some more from the welding supply, you know, before I had these taken out, so I didn't know these were the wrong ones, but I say wrong, they're just the mounting parts. It doesn't have the springs and stuff. So anyway, now I got to go to the welding supply. This project has come to a halt now, but this whole apparatus come in here. The brushes go in there, and this slides in here. 2 screws, and the brush is right on this piece right here. But anyway, I'm gonna roll up the truck and head to the welding supply and get some new brushes. Hopefully they have some. Would you just look at this? I'm here at Bill's in Oklahoma City to get some brushes because I'm trying to get this job finished by the end of the weekend. Today's Friday. I'd like to finish it up tomorrow, so I didn't want to order brushes. But look, they come in this whole brand new whole deal. I thought I was just going to get the inner brushes, but it comes with the whole situation. So essentially plug and play, which is really, really cool. So thank you, Bills. I appreciate y'all. Always get me out of a bind whenever my stuff breaks down. That'll just slip right in there. Put my 2 screws in. There and there, and we'll be rocking and rolling. I'd like to go ahead and plug it in before I leave to make sure it's going to weld. All with a pair of channel locks. Come on. This is my kind of mechanicking. I hope it welds. The white sandy rock thing that I'm running on the armature here, I believe it's called armature. Let me know in the comments down below if that's not correct. But anyway, is to help seat the brushes that I just replaced. Seat just means like get to fitting. So we want the brushes, we want them to fit the contour of the armature. And so this sandy rock that comes in this white box that you can find on my favorites page at AROSSWELDING.com helps seat the brushes. So that's what I'm running on the armature here. We're back in business now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just out here welding on a little fence. Little H brace to stretch a little wire for the cows. I'm gonna weld uphill on this first pass because this old oil field pipe is magnetized, or a lot of it has been, so I just find that it's easier to weld it uphill. And then I'll scratch it off, and then I'll run a downhill pass over it. I've said this before, but the only reason I run downhill on it, because I could technically leave that, but every once in a while I'll have a gap or something that I had to fill, and so it just looks like crap, because whenever I try to fill it, it looks like crap. So to cover that crap, I put a downhill pass over it, and to make all my welds look consistent, I just go ahead and do that on all of them. So it definitely takes extra time, but I don't know, it makes me feel good when I walk away from it. I definitely wouldn't say it's necessary. You know, like if a guy or gal was in a hurry trying to get other stuff done during the day, then I would, you know, say it's definitely not a necessity. But as a craftsman, as a pipeline welder for 8 years, I I don't know, this is my habit. It's just what I like to do. I do me and you do you. I do me and you do you. All right. Do the top one, and then we got 2 more behind me here. Could stand to be a little warmer. But I like to leave it on 1 setting. I could bump it up 5 now that my machine's warmed up. In the mornings, that machine runs a little warmer. But after a few hours, I could stand to turn it up 5 or 10. May just do that. May just do that. Go bump it up 5. Uh-oh. Yellow. Yellow. Welding by itself. Oh no. Oh my goodness. I thought we was fixing to have a stick welding rodeo. Little Lincoln's ready to raring to go. Calm down, Lincoln. I'm coming, buddy. Calm down, Lincoln. I'm coming. Trying to set the scene for the viewers here. Gonna go uphill on this first pass. Keeping a tight arc length. In other words, keeping my rod shoved all the way in there. And then I'm kind of doing little bitty circles, making sure I'm scraping both the post and the horizontal. Oh yeah. You bet. Oh no. All right. Looky there, ladies and gentlemen. All sealed up. Scratch it off. Get a new bullet. Take off. Starting at the top this time. Kind of just going side to side. Now I'm doing a little oval action. There you have it. There you have it. Little old downhill weld. Come on. A little downhill with a 1/8 80-10. Uphill and then a downhill. Arc mark down there, hello. Now, weld that bottom one and this one will be done. All 4 of these will be done. Shallow. It'll be on down to the next brace. Get a little bit of that welding truck in the scene, hello. All right, start the bottom. Scratch her off. This right here is how you speed up the process a little bit without a helper. If I had a helper, they could have their wire brush ready, get on it, brush it off. But without a helper, just scratch it off with the old welding rod. Definitely situation dependent. I wouldn't do that on test day. Wouldn't do it with 7018. But with this old cellulose rod, you bet, on a little used oil filled pipe, absolutely. You betcha. Scratch it off, make sure there ain't no bug holes. And that'll be time, boys. Time. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. I love whenever I kill that weld machine and I can just listen to something else. Nature, birds, the wind, traffic. It's relaxing. The sound of that weld machine is relaxing sometimes too, but so is nature. Okay, so for all 4 of these braces, 4 braces, 2 2 3/8 horizontals, caps, layout, posts are already set, lay everything out, cap them, cut everything, weld everything. I'm gonna say by the time, if I deduct the time going to fix my weld machine and having to roll back out a couple of times, I'm gonna say it took me essentially 7 hours. So 7 divided by 4 is 1.75. So it took me an hour and 45 minutes essentially per brace. So did I already say what I quoted this for? I quoted it for $1,000 for 8 of them. $1,000 for 8 of them. And I'm feeling behind right now because I've only got half of them done and I'm a day and a half into it. Because in theory, in my head, if you start at 7, didn't have any breakdowns, in theory you could dang near get all 8 of these done in a day. Like I said, a little bit of driving. Got to drive to the other end of the pasture now, then I'm gonna have to drive all the way, or I'm gonna go this way first, I think, but go this way, do 1 brace, and go back that way and do 3 braces. So that takes up a little bit of time. Rolling up, rolling out takes time. I think these next ones I'm gonna do the saddle method instead of the circle burner method, especially on this single one over here. The landowner was asking me what he thought was like better or whatever, and I just said it really depends on what a guy has the most experience with, circle burner or saddling. They both have their perks, you know what I mean? I told him I enjoy doing the circle burner method because it's just, I was able to, since I had 4 of them close right here, I was able to do one process like I talked about yesterday. And but it's kind of 6 one way, half a dozen the other. I suggest practicing both, but yeah, those are my thoughts today. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you have an awesome weekend. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn how to build pipe fence, make sure and check out our pipe fence course over there on our website, AROSSWELDING.school. And also, if you need a welding rig quick and in a hurry, over there at the trade school website, AROSSWELDING.school, you can find the quick rig course. And to find the circle burner that we used in this video, you can find it at AROSSWELDING.com/shop. So thanks for being here. Hope you have an awesome day. Hope you learned something. And let me know in the comments what you learned. Love to hear from you. We will catch you in the next video.